The following show is a paid program.
Hey family, thanks so much for tuning in on today. We have the best of the best with us, national recording artist Glenn Jones, and we're talking about Black Music Series. Hey my friend, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Cam?
Doing great, doing great. Just wanted to start off and say, hey, thank you so much for everything you've done in music just along the way. We were just talking a little earlier about music being timeless and things like that, and kind of how you started. Let's talk about that, how you started in the music industry.
Well, it's kind of a typical story, growing up in church, my mother being heavily involved in church,
Yeah.
and that was what we knew. That was constant all the time. It seemed like we were in church all the time.
Right.
So I had to find something that would interest me inside of the church. So I started singing when I was about 5 years old, 5 or 6 years old, in church.
I understand there starts another journey of 12 years old as your journey too.
Yeah, I actually started uh, singing with this group called the Vivint Specials from Jacksonville, Florida, and we were like an opening act for all of the major gospel groups like the Mighty Clouds and
Yeah.
Shirley Caesar and a lot of great gospel artists. And I was the front guy. I was the lead singer, 12 years old. I'm out front with the mic and I'm doing my thing and preaching my little sermons and stuff, and we went to Nashville, Tennessee to record a record on a label called Nashville Records. First record I did was when I was about 12. It was called The Lord Will Make a Way. And that was my first experience in the recording studio.
Absolutely. You have a bit of a story with James Cleveland.
Yeah, I do. Actually, my first record deal was signed through Reverend Cleveland. My group and I, we used to drive from Florida because I was born and raised in Jacksonville. And we used to drive out to California and see what churches we could, go out and sing, for, a trailer, 12 passenger a van and a trailer on the back of it with all the
Right.
equipment and,
Uh-huh.
the hot plates and all that
Exactly.
stuff, the box with the cooking utensils, and it was great because we were young guys, we were doing music, and we went out and my manager was on a flight and met Reverend Cleveland on the flight. He invited me to his house, got around the piano and started singing. And in a few days, I was in Ray Charles' studio, getting ready to record an album. Reverend Cleveland called Savoy Records, that was located in Elizabeth, New Jersey at the time, and said, "Send me a contract. I'm getting ready to sign this kid named Glenn Jones." And
Wow.
I had written about 12 songs, so we recorded, I think, 10 of them,
Wow.
and I did two duets with the Reverend James Cleveland on the album. And it was my recording career start,
Absolutely. And at the time, you probably didn't, at a young age, know what history that would leave, Reverend James Cleveland. I mean, how the magnitude of who he was around the world.
No idea, but I listened to radio all the time, and I saw him recording, so many choirs and writing so many songs. He was so prolific, it's like
Right.
this guy wrote Peace Be Still, on the bank, standing on the banks of Jordan, and so many great songs, I Don't Feel No Ways Tired, and, I could go on and on. So I
Right.
learned a lot from him when it came down to songwriting. I really did. I was listening and started, putting my songs together. And by the time I met him, which I had no idea I would, I was ready. I had some, let's say I had some catalog, ready to go. So it was a great experience, man.
I'm so glad you used your gift, that God gives you. Sometimes, and thank God for your parents to say,
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
because a lot of, at a 12-year-old or 13 or 14 nowadays, and our children come to us and say, this is what I want to do. We're steady
yeah,
saying, you got to go through school, you got to go through college, we got to go through
right,
this, and then come back and do your dream. But your parents,
right,
for, for whatever it might be, because they were in the church, they knew
yeah.
your gift.
My mother saw it,
Yeah.
and my father, he saw it. He supported it, but my mom's had a way of dealing with my dad. You know, sometimes he would say,
Convincing
"No,
him.
you can't. Yeah, you can't go this weekend. You can't go."
Right.
My mother would say, "Glenn, go in the room and pack your bag. I'm gonna take care of this. I'm gonna
Right.
talk to Luca. My
Right.
father."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
she would handle it, man. And my whole family was supportive. I come from a family of nine, seven boys, two girls,
Wow.
and I was the youngest. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I had a lot of big brothers, and they supported me. My family helped me get a van, 12 passenger van. They helped me get instruments.
Right.
I wasn't old enough to be driving all over the country, but I
Right.
had two brothers who would drive us, from
Wow.
wherever, from Florida to New York, from Florida to Chicago. And they were my managers, and they were just there for me. And I'm sitting here in this chair now talking to you
Right.
because of what they did for me.
Right. 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 And I'm so glad you mentioned that because that's your village. You have
Yeah,
somebody that your family that's with you. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
Many today don't have that. They
I
don't
know.
have that nucleus of a family part, whoever it might be, brother, sister, mother, father. So your mom knew having your brothers there, there's not going to be no miss. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. They gonna take care of little bro, They
Right,
they
right,
got him.
right.
They gonna take care of it.
Right, absolutely. And in looking that along the way, you were a great songwriter. And just talking to
Thank
songwriters about writing their own music.
Right. That's that's very important, because if you want to establish your brand,
Yeah.
that's a way of creating your own sound.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always good to be able to, express yourself in the way that you feel, not to mention the extra, income. The money is much better being a songwriter because you get that forever.
Right.
Royalties are forever. Your
Uh-huh.
kids and your kids' kids and all of that. That money is it's like infinity.
Right. I'm
Yeah.
glad you mentioned that. We were talking earlier about music is about 10% and the creativity of it, but business is 90%. We fail on that part of the business side because of the
Right.
royalties, like you said. We don't get credit for the things that we've done. We don't know or have the knowledge of contracts many times, of what we're, entering in.
Right. Well, I paid the price for that because the album that I did for Savoy,
Mm-hmm.
they ended up taking my publishing because I didn't know.
Right.
The second, I did two albums for that label, and the second album I did, one of the producers came to me and said, "Glenn, I need you to sign off on this paperwork." So I'm like, "What is this?" And just go ahead and sign it,
Mm-hmm.
because if you don't sign it, then
Right.
we won't be able to pay for these 4 hotel rooms you have here in the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Because back in the you started writing my love songs, my R&B songs, I just wrote about love, period.
Mm-hmm.
Because love is love. You know,
Right.
that's the bottom
Right.
line.
It
It
is.
is what it is. You
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm. And it's many of your songs crossed over, so you could put it in any atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? Any
Yeah.
genre, any race, everybody was playing it back there in those times. And many of the songs we want to find out how did they come about? Like, we've only just begun. Wow.
Yeah. I co-wrote that with a guy named Timmy Allen, who's
Mm-hmm.
a great songwriter. Timmy produced a lot of, people, Stephanie Mills, and just a lot of great artists, Vanessa Bell Armstrong. But Timmy and I, we wrote that song together, and we wanted to write something that would make the statement that, even though we've been together for a while,
Mm-hmm.
it's not over. We,
Right.
we we got so much more. We got so much love to give. We got years. If the good Lord allows, we got
Right.
all that time. So and it's about keeping things in a fresh perspective. Keeping things new, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what we try to accomplish through that song.
Wow. There's another one that everyone has asked. I've been searching.
Yeah, now that's I wrote that song with Bernard Bell, who's Regina Bell's brother.
Mm-hmm.
And Bernard's a great writer. He was Teddy Riley's right hand guy. He was the guy that co-wrote "Remember the Time" for Michael Jackson, and uh, uh, I Like the Way for High Five. Just a lot of great people.
Mm-hmm.
So I came up with the chords on "I've Been Searching." Pegged it out on the piano, and I took it to him. I said, "Man, what you think about this?" He said, "Hmm." And Bernard is such an incredible musician. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
any instrument he plays it. So he, started putting the track together, and we came up with those lyrics. And it's funny because a friend of mine named Lala is the young lady that wrote "Show Me" for me,
Mm-hmm.
and which was my first hit record. And she told me, she said, "That song I've been searching. That song is so country." I said, "Okay, watch this."
Uh-huh. Right, 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 right,
And
right.
the song was a smash. And there have been some artists, some gospel artists, that have taken that song and flipped it, you know,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
sung it in a gospel way. Matter of fact, uh, uh, Doc Powell, who played guitar for Luther Vandross
Mm-hmm.
for many years, he and his choir in California, they recorded it, and they did "I've Been Searching." So
Right.
turned out to
Right,
be a
right.
great experience.
You just mentioned one of the main songs, Show Me, of how that
Yeah.
came about.
Oh yeah, that well, you know, when I heard "Show Me," um, LaForest Cope is her name, but we call her Lala.
Uh-huh.
And Lala is the same young lady that wrote "You Give Good Love" for Whitney Houston. So I
Mm.
was living in New York at the time. I lived right around the corner from La. So she had been promising to write me a song. I'm like, okay, okay. So I went round to her at the crib, and I said, "All right, La, what you got for me?"
Uh-huh.
And she said, "I'm gonna play something for you first." She said, "Before I play the song I got for you," she played "You Give Good Love."
Mm.
I was on my knees. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Lala, please," because I knew. Sometimes you just know,
Right.
from the moment you hear a song. I knew
Mm-hmm.
that was a great, great, great song. And she said, "No," she said, "This is for a young lady or a girl, named Whitney, and Clive Davis is presenting her. He's recording her. This is for her, but I had something for you." And then she played "Show Me." So I wasn't mad. I wasn't upset.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But when you hear her say, us, we hear Clive Davis and Whitney Houston, you like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, no problem.
Yeah. Hey, well,
Those two names in itself, we're thinking,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah, yeah, no, that those are very impressive names. I got
Mm-hmm.
Whitney hanging on the wall of fame back there. She and I
Yes.
had her birthday party
Mm-hmm.
in New York back around 92.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a beautiful person, man. I really liked her.
Oh,
Very nice.
absolutely. Absolutely. You have another one, and we'll jump over to Regina Bell. You spoke about her, but Love by Design.
Yeah, yeah, that's That's a beautiful song, man. I released that song, I think it was about 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little more. And doing the independent record thing, now
Right.
it's difficult. It's not like it used to be when you
Mm-hmm.
had, the big machine behind you, the
Behind you,
major
right.
labels and stuff. So sometimes you do great records and people don't really get a chance to be exposed to them. They don't get a chance to really hear them.
Mm-hmm.
But that song was the first single from my album. I have an album that's entitled Love by Design, which is being released in August.
Right.
And a friend of mine named James Day wrote that song, and I sent it to Regina. So I just hear her singing it.
Right.
And when I sent it to her, she was like, I'm down. Because I
Mm-hmm.
worked with her before.
Mm-hmm.
We did a wedding song some years ago, a song called From Now On,
Mm-hmm.
which was produced by Barry Eastman. Barry Eastman he's won so many Grammys and different awards. He produced, Freddie Jackson and George Benson and Shaka, and you can go on and on.
Mm-hmm.
But he produced a song, and Regina and I did that song from now on. And it was so great, such a great combination. So, we started working together, doing shows together. We did a tour in South Africa together and do a lot of dates. Matter of fact, we just shot something, a little mini TV thing, about a week ago. So you'll
Mm-hmm.
be hearing about that soon. But she, that's my sister.
Yeah.
And she loved the song, and we recorded it, man. And it's amazing. It's an amazing, amazing song.
Yeah. How did you guys meet? You and Regina Bell.
Because I was friends with her brother Bernard,
Right.
Bernard,
Uh-huh.
Bernard Bell. Yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
we Bernard and I, we used to run around kicking it, and I would get with him and do like demos and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and I would go to some of the shows because Bernard was a part of the band with Guy, and he was
Mm-hmm.
playing with them. So I used to go and hang out with him and Teddy and Aaron and all the guys. So that's how I got to know him. And then Bernard was just so crazy, man. He would call me in the middle of the night, preaching and playing the piano.
Uh-huh.
Just, he was my kind of guy because he was a church guy.
Right.
And, we got each other. We understood one another. So I met her through him.
Sounds good. We'll be back. We're taking a break, and we'll be right back on the Cam Hill Show.
To the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
Move up at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $319 a month. The new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $399 a month. Both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase either and enjoy 1.9% APR for 60 months plus bonus cash. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. RonCarterCadillac.com.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Have you heard about Hero Go TV offering free TV?
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, family, thanks so much for coming back. We're talking to the national recording artist, Glenn Jones. Mr. Glenn, some things that people have been asking on the feed. What have you learned along the way in the music industry?
Well, I have learned never to count anyone out.
Mm-hmm.
I have learned to watch what you do or say because you never know who's going to end up in what chair,
Yeah.
you know. And I have learned to be about my business, to, make sure that I'm in the know, that I know what's going on instead of third parties. It's like at one time, man, I was so cool with the people that, were working for me until like, if I did a gig, they say, is the back end boss, they just hand it to me and I wouldn't even count it, because these were my people,
Right.
This guy was my dude, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm cool, man, And I learned never to do that again because I ended up firing him, because he was he was doing some wrong stuff, man. So, I learned that you have to always verify.
Yeah.
You got to verify, no matter how close you are with people. And I think that one important lesson that you have to learn is that the same people that you see going up, you see them coming down. So it's important to be able to look anybody in their face, anybody that you dealt with, and not have feelings about whether I did somebody wrong or something. You got to do business, but then you got to have morals. You got to have some boundaries in doing what you do. That's what I believe. And that's why 40 years later I'm still working. I mean, people that have worked with me, they've never had a problem with me. They know I'm a man of my word.
Right.
I'm not gonna get your money and not show up at the gig. This is what I do. So it's about the longevity of it. Because a lot of cats will take your bed, man.
Yeah.
It's not show up.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
I don't believe in that. So I just try to be a man of my word.
Well, what I love about you, every time I see you, every concert I've seen, everything, I don't care if it's 1, 2, 12 people in the audience, 10, 20,000 people, everyone is going to have that same show. Why so?
Yeah. Because my rep is important. That's my brand. And people pay their hard-earned dollars to come out and see you, so you're supposed to give them the best that you got. You don't just say, well, I got 100 people in the audience tonight rather than 2,000. It doesn't matter. And some of those people come because they have moments in their lives where some of your music made a difference to them. So you got to give them the best that you got.
Absolutely. The other thing I love about you is that just looking at it along the way, and again, we were talking about the timeless music that you have out there. You give your best on every occasion. I have seen you stop no matter what. People will say, hey, I want to take a picture, or hey, I want, an autograph, or hey, I want to do this. Each person, no matter if it's 100, you're still telling your people, hey, hold up, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Hey, hold up, I'm going to do this. Because many times, as we both know, even in entertainment, is that you don't know what that person had gone through that day. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that hug or that love or whatever might have been the opportunity for them. That was something that they needed or wanted at the time.
I'm glad you know that, man, because our job, or my job, is to make people feel good and make them feel special.
Absolutely.
And I don't want anybody running around with some Glenn Jones story. Let me tell you what Glenn Jones did. You got some people, you can mention some artists and they'll be like, Savin or whatever. No, you ain't gonna do that.
Right.
I'm not giving you a Glenn Jones story, okay? Not that kind of story.
I love that about you because you do. You stop on each occasion. You say, "Hey, you know what?" You tell your people, "Hey, hold up.
Yeah.
We're taking pictures along the way. Oh, Glenn, you got to go here. No, I'm okay. We're gonna take the
Do that.
pictures because, like you said, you never know with the people. No, giving the Glenn Jones story, but you never know. COVID happened recently, right? The end of February, the beginning of March. So many artists, full-time artists. Unfortunately, they just didn't have the cushion or the longevity of having, a savings or something, and many were not getting their royalties. They weren't getting their publishing. They weren't getting a lot of their funding that they should have been.
Yeah. Well, I thank God for that. I, I think that I've always had God's favor. He's always blessed me, not because of anything that I did, but, I've always, even though I've had my peaks and my valleys, but even in my valleys, I've had his favor. And when that came, it caught me off guard because, like I said, I had a full itinerary, man. It was, getting ready to be like a really nice year. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I was feeling good. And when it came, matter of fact, I had just come from Jacksonville. I went there to sing at a friend's funeral. And I came back so I could, get packed because I was flying out the next day. I had a show in Detroit with Angela Winbush. And I got the phone call and said, don't pack your bags. The show is canceled.
Wow.
So I was like, And then it just started. Snowballing. Everything just fell out. And fortunately, I was okay. I've been okay, through the grace of God.
Right.
And those little checks that come in the mail, kind of thing. And I'm just grateful. And I know it's been hard because even, not working for a year and a half.
Yes.
I mean, it's okay when you say, okay, I've been off for a couple of months.
Right.
3-4 months. But when you're getting into a year, a whole year, a year and a half, of no money coming in and everything going out, it's scary, man. I was concerned. I'm not going to lie. I was concerned. But things have opened up. I've been gigging probably for the past 2 months now, maybe even more. So God is good.
Yeah. But not only that, I found out too that many of the people, they may have had the money, but the depression set in because they were not in their craft. They weren't able to touch anybody. Many weren't able to go out, period, because they just didn't know. We just didn't have the ability to know what COVID was,
Well, I was among those people, man. It was scary, it's like, you never thought that anything like that would come about just out of the blue. It just came and nobody knew, like you said, exactly what it was and what it meant.
Yeah.
How long it would stay, how it was transferred, how you could get it, And I was in my house, just trying to stay prayed up, man.
Right. Right.
That's the real deal. I would go in my, like they say, secret closet, and I would cry and I would pray.
Yeah.
And that kept me sane. It kept me sane because it was that one man where I would take my garbage out. I was scared to touch the garbage can.
Right.
Man. Like,
you just didn't know. You don't have to.
I had all these plastic gloves, and then
Mask
I started.
and
and then I started going to the grocery store. They had these senior citizen hours of going to the grocery store. So I get up at 6 o'clock.
Well, you knew it wouldn't be a lot of people there. It wouldn't be
right. Yeah, that's where I would go. I would go. At 6 o'clock in the morning. But I'm so thankful. I got my COVID shot. Both shots, and I've felt a lot freer. I've gotten back on flights. I'm flying, different places. Cause for over a year, I hadn't been on a flight in over a year.
Right.
And a few things that I did, a couple of gigs that I did, man, I got in my truck and I drove. I said, look, okay, I'm on the stage. Stage is here. The audience is there.
Right.
You know, I'm gonna keep my mask on. You
Right.
know, in the dressing room, I'm gonna hit it and then quit it, and then
Right.
not being able to meet and greet people.
Right.
And then some people they wanted to take a picture, man. So,
Right.
and I'm taking a picture, and I got my
Holding your
mask
breath.
on.
You're like,
Yeah.
you holding your breath. Take it
Oh
off.
man, my manager told me to do that. Hold your breath,
Hold your
son.
breath. Don't breathe.
Hey, and then it's like, they want you to take your mask off to take the
Right.
picture because it's like nobody's gonna know it's you. You got the
Right.
mask on. I'm like,
Right.
really? So then
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
inhale, take the mask off, take the picture, and put it back on.
Right.
And the first thing that I experienced when I went to Miami to do a gig, this was last Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I got to take this gig.
Right.
They said, well, it's going to be a small little event, social distancing and all that. So I drove. I got in my truck and I drove from Atlanta to Miami. That's about 10 hours.
Wow.
And so I got down there and I, spent the night. I went to the club to do my sound check and everything. Everything seemed to be good. And so I came back that night to do the gig. I parked my truck behind the stage door, and they opened up the door and gave me the mic. So when I walked in, I saw all of these people, man, like that.
Yes.
Singing loud,
Yes.
drinking, and, everybody was off the chain, man.
Mm-hmm.
And the stage, it was so close to the people. And I sung those songs, man. I sung those 3 or 4 songs, and I got out of there and went back to the hotel and probably got in a fetal position, man. I was
Right.
like,
Yeah.
oh my God. And I got back and I told my wife when I got back, I said, look, I'm going to sleep in my office,
Right.
for a couple of days,
Yeah.
And I managed to get an appointment to take the test.
Right.
And I took the test and I still stayed in my office for a while,
Mm-hmm.
about 10 days or so.
Quarantine yourself.
Quarantine, but the
Yeah.
test came back and said I was okay.
Yeah.
And everything was good, but
Because
I
at that
was
time
really
it didn't
concerned.
have no shots were out at that time, right?
No, I couldn't get a shot.
Yeah.
You
there was
know,
no
and
shot.
you know how it is, man. The devil be messing with you, like, your throat get a little scratchy.
Yes. Yes.
You have a little cough or something. I got it.
Exactly. Exactly. You think you got it.
I got it.
Exactly.
So yeah. Okay. But no, I was good, man. God, he just he covered me.
He did.
Covered me.
He covered
Yeah.
you. He covered you.
Yes, sir.
He covered you. We think about that, and we think about just the world being shut down, not just clubs and churches. Were shut
Yes.
down. It did
Yes.
no matter where it was. Buildings were shut down. Hotels. Maybe you 3 or 4
Yeah.
people in a hotel. In a whole big
Right.
500
Yeah.
1,000 room place.
But I'm gonna tell you the one thing I learned, years ago, just watching, some of the Asian community.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times you would get on flights and they would have masks on anyway.
Yes.
And there were times when I would fly with a mask on.
Yes.
Even right now, it's like I put my mask on, and I think
too.
I will
Yeah.
always fly that way.
Yes.
And even just to protect myself from a common cold or something,
Right. Right. Viruses, the flu,
Yeah.
just different things. And kind of the
Right.
new normal. You know how you have your new normal.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
Mhm.
also it's because we bought so many different designer, masks until what we gonna do.
With every outfit, right?
Right. We didn't know how long it was gonna last. It's just with every outfit,
Hey,
right?
yeah, you got the Louis Vuitton and the Gucci,
Yeah.
mask and all that stuff.
Yeah. So we're gonna wear that. And looking
Yeah.
back, what are some of your greatest moments? With some of the artists that you've had, Aretha Franklin. I mean, just all of them, because just different people along the way.
That right there.
Yeah.
That right there. Aretha.
Aretha Franklin. Yeah.
That was mind blowing, man, because I grew up listening to her. And even though I was doing gospel when I was a young kid, but I was listening to, the live gospel album she had done. and the stuff she had recorded with Reverend James Cleveland. She just was such an amazing singer, and we had so much in common because of her background out of the church, you know. And when I became an R&B artist, you know, I drew from that, you know. And I remember my manager called me and said, look, Aretha Franklin just called, you know, said she's having a birthday party in Detroit and she wants you to come. Well, no, let me back up. It started before that. I went to Detroit to play the Fox Theater. I was doing a gig with Nancy Wilson. I was opening for Nancy at the Fox. And Aretha called that day, said, I'm coming to the show and I need some tickets. Wow, you coming to see Glenn Jones?
Right.
Yeah. So about into the second song that I played that night, I see this foxy lady coming down the aisle. She had on a black satin dress and had a red fox wrapped around her neck. And her hair was red. You know, she just came in and just disturbed my show, you know, just made her entrance. But it was all right because it was Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
And that was a great moment for me, man. I got some great pictures and memories of being with Aretha in my dressing room. She and Nancy Wilson, I got some pictures of them just having girl talk, you know, just talking, man. It's amazing, man. Aretha is holding the album cover. And she and I and Nancy Wilson and my wife Genovia, we took some great pictures together. And then after that was when she called for me to come and play for her birthday because, you know, she had Lou Rawls and all these great stars and stuff at her party. That was an honor. And then she called because she was getting ready to play Radio City in New York. And she wanted me to perform. She wanted me to do a couple of songs with her. You know, with the orchestra, you know, 30-piece orchestra.
And I know you're saying, me?
Yeah.
Aretha?
Yeah, you know, so that was amazing, man. And then we got to play Caesar's Palace.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, for a couple of nights, that was, it was amazing, man. And for her to endorse me and say, you know, I was a great artist, I was a great singer, and I had, you know, I had a great career ahead of me. It was amazing, man.
Wow.
The Queen of Soul.
The Queen of Soul.
Queen of Soul.
Let's do this. We'll take a break and we'll be right back on the Cam Hill Show.
To the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
Move up at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $319 a month. The new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $399 a month. Both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase either and enjoy 1.9% APR for 60 months plus bonus cash. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. Ron Carter Cadillac.com.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Have you heard about Hero Go TV offering free TV?
Now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey family, we're back with Mr. Glenn Jones. Glenn, we just had a person just say they saw you at Radio Music City, and you all put it on fire. You all set it on fire.
Thank you. Thank you.
And going back, talking about songwriting, talking about your music, talking about everything that you've done along the way. So many new artists are out here. Let's give them a little advice because they've gone through the COVID process. Many of them have lost their jobs. Over 40 million people at one point had lost their jobs, but they still had that dream, right? Maybe doing music or creativity or whatever, but they were still afraid to jump into doing whatever it was because in their mindset, many of them, health insurance. You know, I'm not going to be able to make, my, pay for my anything, pay for anything, all of my stuff, in their mindset, but you just have to jump.
Well, that's part of the deal.
Yeah.
We had to do that because, when I jumped, there were no guarantees.
Right.
I didn't have health insurance and all that stuff, but I believed in what I was doing. I believed in myself.
Right.
And I believed that that God would help me do what I had to do. And I made that leap because it's like, you're trying to reach out for something else, but then you're holding on to something else at the same time,
Right.
And that's sometimes you have to, put yourself out there because it's sink or swim. And it might intensify your desire to do it because you got to make it happen.
Yes.
I don't have that. So
Yes.
this is what I got. I got to make this happen. So I got to put everything that I have into this, and sometimes when you don't do that, sometimes you don't become successful.
Right.
Because you don't take it as seriously and you don't put everything you have into it.
Right.
You don't devote yourself, you don't commit yourself. And you got to be committed and you got to be able to see it when nobody else can see it. Like they said, if you can see it, you can be it, so sometimes you just gotta go for it.
Well, the other thing too, what I love about you is that you invested in yourself, right? Invested in you. You have to invest in yourself first. The other thing is that even though you're a great artist even now, you're still doing the rehearsals. You're still educating yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You're still going after understanding different things, right? Every day you learn, People say, oh, well, you're not going to the parties and all of that every day and still going out and all of that kind of. Many times you've had to let it go because you're in the studio. You've got a deadline for your project. You got to do this and do that, Dedication.
That's true. That's true. Dedication. I just, I believe that you have to be focused. Right. And you really have to want it, more than anything else, and sometimes, I've seen people that couldn't really, dedicate themselves because they, still wanted to be able to hang out with their friends and do other things. And sometimes you got to let that go. Like they say, you can't take everybody with you,
Ooh, man.
You can't do that. You got to go for yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And many of people are dream killers, right? They have your dream, but they're killed. And it could be their fear. It could be family being in fear or something like that, telling you, you might need to stay with your job and do this, but I don't believe you can do it. You know what I mean? But you've got to believe, like you said, in yourself. You got to believe. And that's, I guess that's what played such an important part in my life was the fact that I had people that did believe. Right. That didn't tell me what I couldn't do. If I told them what I wanted to do, their thing was, what can we make it happen? How can we help you make it happen? My mother, I used to have my mother up till 3 o'clock in the morning, man, making my little outfits, my little stage, wardrobe, and I had all of those, elements, man, people helping me, my brothers helping me because they're going to drive me, my mother sewing my outfits and just encouragement. So, if you got that, you got a lot. Yeah. Let's talk to parents also about some of their children, many of them 12, 13, 14, same, you know, just like yourself, great songwriters doing what they're doing, but just encouraging the parents to just continue and allow the child to be creative.
Well, the thing is, living in the times that we live in now, there's so much going on.
Right.
And anything that our kids are interested in that's a positive and
Yes.
creative thing, we need to support that
Yeah.
because we might be squashing their dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we don't even know how talented our
Yeah.
kids really are.
Right.
Sometimes we don't get it,
Yeah.
and sometimes other people see it before we do.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to support them and whatever it is that they're trying to do. If it's positive, it's good because it could definitely go another way, and you don't want that. Give them the
Absolutely.
opportunity and the chance. A lot of times, parents, because they never, pursued, you know, different, you know, uh, different, you know, trails or
Right.
whatever kind of talent they might
Mm-hmm.
have had. They didn't work to develop that, then they don't really get it. But, just give your child that opportunity because you never know where it can end.
Yeah, absolutely. Because many of the family members or so say, okay, we want you in sports, so we want you to run track, we want you to do football, we want you to do basketball. And a child is saying, no, I want to do music. I want to do,
Right?
technical. I want to do something else, engineering or whatever,
Yeah.
songwriter, something like that. And they say, oh, that's not going to work. You need to do this other.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, you have to let them decide what their passion is.
Right.
It's about the passion.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, a lot of people are just natural born, whatever it is. It didn't take any time for me to realize I'm a singer. I'm an artist. I knew that when I was a youngster, man. I knew
Mm-hmm.
what I was going to be. I don't know how, but I knew what I was going to be. I knew I was destined to do exactly what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was nothing else that I was interested in to that degree. I didn't have, the passion for anything else like I had for music. And that was the thing that made me happy. That was the thing that made me have self-esteem. That was the
Mm-hmm.
thing that made me believe in myself. And I pursued it because I loved it and it paid off.
Sounds good. What would you like to leave with the viewers, my friend?
Well, first of all, I would like to leave with them that I got a new record coming out in August. So
Yes.
make sure you look out for the Glenn Jones CD. I got a great record. Like you mentioned before, there's a duet with Regina Bell. I have a song that I'm featuring the great jazz guitar player Nick Coleone. My niece, Iana Crawley, is on there. She won Sunday's Best in 2009. We got a song called Family Time. I recorded a song with my wife, Genovia Jeter Jones, song that I wrote and produced, a song called Trust in Me. And also, I've got a song that I'm featuring Kim Waters on, the great Kim Waters,
Yeah.
great saxophone player,
Mm-hmm.
All of My Heart. And actually, Chucky Booker produced 2 songs on this album.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very happy. I'm very excited about that. But what I want to leave with people, with the fans, is that I appreciate y'all. I thank y'all for helping me continue on this journey, helping me to still be an artist, doing what I do, because without you, I couldn't do it. Who would I sing for? Who would I make records for?
Mm-hmm.
And most of all, keep God first.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, first of all, Mr. Glenn Jones, for consistency, your dedication, for the ability to continue and give us great music. Thank you for
Thank
your
you, Cam.
family for allowing you, look,
Right.
them, your wife and everyone to share you during
Yeah.
all these years and giving
Yes,
us
sir.
timeless music, that you have just relayed to us and just giving us just the entertainment of yourself. We appreciate you
Thank you.
so much. Thank you for
Thank you so
everything
much,
done,
Cam.
and I appreciate you. Take care, my friend. Shout out to
Too.
Tanya Holly for putting us together. Love
No
her, love
doubt.
her, love her. Exactly. Talk to you
No doubt.
soon, and I'm going to be
All
coming to
right,
the
Cam.
shows, okay?
Yeah. I'm expecting to see you when I come to Texas, man.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to travel. I'm going to come see you traveling.
Okay. All right. Good.
See you
Cool,
then.
cool.
Talk to you then.
Yeah, man. All right.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Take care.
All right.
The Cam Hill Show, 12:30 to 1:30 Central Standard Time. See you then. Bye.